Hello and welcome to Women of Worth Wednesday. I am Ganel-Lyn, your host, and I'm so thrilled, excited. I'm on a spiritual high from my own personal experience with our special guest today that our family just had last night. And so I'm just so grateful that the High Five Live community is global because I know you're in for a treat today. I know that your spirits will be uplifted and strengthened by this powerful woman of worth. And I'm so grateful for her time and her willingness to share some very sacred and personal projects that she's working on. We're just going to give our live feed a few minutes so that people can chime in and let us know where they're watching from, and then we'll get started. Our guest today on Women of Worth Wednesday is the talented, inspirational. I did a post last night. I was trying to come up with every adjective I could think of, Angela, to describe you and our experience last night. The amazing sculptor and artist, Angela Johnson. If you have visited the Thanksgiving Point Ashton Garden, Light the World statue garden, you will know of her work. And if you have, I don't know a person that has visited that garden that hasn't been changed by that experience. I know our family has had that opportunity. And right now, as you can see in the shot right behind her, we are in her studio, her beautiful studio, where she is working on a brand new project, the Tree of Life. And our family had the opportunity to visit the studio in person, but we felt like StreamYard was the best way to give you the full experience. So we weren't trying to get me in the shot, the sculptures in the shot, and Angela in the shot. And so we're grateful for the support she's been given on the technology side so that we can give this virtual tour and hear from Angela personally. I already see, Angela, just so you know, because I can see the comments, Canada and England have joined us live. So that's pretty exciting, because what I felt last night and what Angela and I talked about is that there may be many thousands all over the world that will never have the opportunity to see this when it is complete in person. And so we just feel so grateful for the High Five Live opportunity to share this with the world. And we would strongly recommend, as the video is over, it will be saved on my YouTube channel, on the High Five Live page, on various platforms, that you share it, because I know that the spirit will translate through the camera today what we felt last night because of Angela's spirit. I feel like we're kindred spirits. I feel like we had a reunion last night, even though it was our first meeting. I felt a kindred to you, that you are a woman that is willing to do God's work and to boldly declare that Jesus is the Christ in everything that you're doing. And so, Angela, why don't you share with our viewers really quick, because we have Chicago, Prince Edward Island, Idaho, Arizona, Centerfield, Utah. Everyone's coming on, and it's just wonderful that we get to gather this way virtually. Tell us a little bit about you and when your career as a sculptor, because you didn't start out wanting to do this work, did you?
Well, first of all, let me welcome the world.
Okay.
Beautiful people, wherever you're at. We are all children of God. So we are all kindred spirits in seeking light. And I am so grateful for this opportunity to be with Ganel-Lyn and share this art presentation with you. The thing I stepped over for just a minute to pick up is a copy of the Book of Mormon. This is the volume of scripture, the holy word of God, which is another testament of Jesus Christ. So artists oftentimes are asked, where does your inspiration come from? This is it. So what you're going to see, and the compelling, impactful, emotion-packed statues are most of them, not all of them, but most of them come from the pages of the Book of Mormon, and specifically inspired by the vision of the Tree of Life. So the Tree of Life is multicultural. It means many things to many people. And as was shared in this application, it specifically is intentioned to represent the light of God and Jesus Christ. So
We've had lots of artists share here on the High Five Live page. Some are musicians, some are authors, some are painters. What made you feel like this was the medium by which you would create art and build the kingdom? Because I really see that that's your why.
yeah, that is my why. But my first why was to do what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do is to be a prima donna at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City. And I had really bought into the philosophy that you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. And I said, that's great, because I'm going to focus on it and I'm going to make it happen. And I had wonderful performing opportunities, but in my late 30s, a message came from God, and this was it. You will never accomplish your ultimate vocal goals, period. And I was so stunned to receive that message because I thought I had done everything right.
Right.
And so it was the termination of that vision. And then without any premeditated thought, God took me to the art store. I bought a block of water-based clay, this big old bag, one sculpting tool. 4 hours later, there was a portrait bust of a little girl on my kitchen table. So when you talk about the why, and what kind of divine intervention happens in our life, my experience specifically ties back to that, because it was not even in my mind. I had specifically focused on music. I hadn't studied the visual arts. So when I pulled that plastic down off the beautiful clay and my hands just buried themselves into that clay, it was so amazing, because actually I felt like I'd come home. And the fulfillment that I had from that, I had really never experienced my whole career in vocal performance.
So I'm
So,
feeling right now that you've answered prayers, not just for me, but for thousands, just by sharing that. Because I think, especially here at Women of Worth, I often say, I've written this in one of my books, The Decision That Changed My Life, that God holds our dreams in safety. And so sometimes we want everything now, or we put aside his commands because we think, well, I want this instead. What a powerful witness that God is literally like, no, and course correction. And oh, what the world would have lost had you not been willing to hear him. So thank you for sharing that. What then led to what we see at Thanksgiving Point? Because I feel like that's an experience that many have had.
okay, so to all the people listening into this, what I really want to encourage is I've taken everything I learned in music and embedded it in this. So when you see that glorious tree of life up there, it's a crescendo. It's a triple fortissimo. I mean, and so, but God can do amazing things with something, but it's very hard for him to do something with nothing.
Oh, I love that.
Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, whatever you feel compelled to do it, because you're going to learn something about yourself. You're going to learn something about a God. And just as Ganel-Lyn said, is that when the time comes, he holds your dream in his hands, but we've got to show him that when he gives us the dream, we'll take it and we'll do something with it. But just like you said, when I first started, it was just such an overwhelming art form for me that was tactile, and I needed tactile.
Mm,
And voice is so beautiful, but it goes out into the universe and you don't really ever touch it. So
right.
when I started and I did all these private commissions, then the thing was, my prayer to God was, I know this gift is from you, God. What do you want me to do with it? And that's when the concept of a sculpture garden depicting Christ was given to me. And I was so overjoyed, because Christ has always been the ruling love of my life. And then went through that process. But from the time I was 5 years old, just a tiny little girl, and the first time from the Book of Mormon that I heard about the tree of life, it was embedded on my soul in a very powerful way, and it never left. But I didn't know I was going to be turned to sculpting in my late 30s. I didn't know that at all. So I knew that when I started sculpting, eventually I would sculpt the tree of life.
Wow. I loved what you shared last night when we were together about the fact that oftentimes as an artist, and I feel this way as a speaker and an author, that we're opening our souls and putting it out there, the most vulnerable parts of us. And I love that you have infused the spirit of Angela Johnson in this experience, that you have not cut any corners. The other thing that really impressed me was that you said oftentimes people, will have comments like, why did you make this way? Why did you make the pathway up to the tree uphill? And what I loved what you said was, if you've already seen it done, that's not what I'm called to do. And so the other message, I think, especially for Women of Worth viewers and every one of God's children, is that stop trying to do the safe thing. You haven't taken the safe path. And I left last night. On a personal note, we'll have to have a conversation about what that was for me personally in the mission I feel called to do. And I love your invitation to everybody to do something, so God has something to work with. So thank you for that from the onset. The other thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to let you take us on a tour, is that if you can't see all the detail, it will be life size in a few years. At this point, this is a process, not to scale. But what I felt the most power, and the reason I titled this message, "Everyone is Invited to the Tree," is that you have made sure that no visitor will be confused, whether they're on another continent, another race, another religion, that everyone is invited to the tree. And you have made sure this is not a Wasatch Front depiction of the tree of life. This is a global experience. And so with that being said, where do you want to take us first on this tour?
I've been really thinking about that. So if you can just be patient with me, I'm going to hijack this phone and I'm going to walk right on the presentation, which may freak people out, but that's okay. We're going right up here.
I was going to ask you that last night about.
I want you to see that. I want you to see that. Can you see?
Oh.
Where's his face? There's his face. Okay. I want you to see his, whoa. So there's the camera. But anyway, I want you to see the detail. I want you to see, it's so hard for me to focus. I want you to see the love involved in these, whoa. Okay. Hi, I didn't know I'd be in the picture.
Well, you know what? It's perfect. I'm telling you.
I'm just so trying to make you see.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. Who is that, Mormon or Moroni? Who is that?
No, this is Sam.
Sam. He's up on the.
Yeah, look how huge my finger is to his face. So I'll move my finger away. But what I want you to see is how it's the side of his head. This is Lehi. Anyway, I want you to meet my people. That's Sariah right there. And so let's see if I can show you Captain Moroni. I think I actually look better standing by them. So okay, who doesn't care about the way that they look like? Okay, so that's Captain Moroni. Okay, do you see him? Do you see his shield?
Yes.
And so I'm so frustrated that I can't really show you the detail and turn the phone around. So we're going to take you to different zones.
Angela, we can see detail, like crazy detail.
Can you?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just going to go this way really quick. So in the vision of the Tree of Life is a space called the Great and Spacious Building. And one of the things I love is that even with the detail, you can see powerful, strong concepts of light and dark. This space is one of darkness. And can you hold that? I don't even know. I've got a wonderful friend, Nikki, here, who's helping me.
Thanks, Nikki. It looks great. Everything looks great.
Much better. So, but anyway, these iconic individuals, you'll see even a depiction of Satan back here. And even one, if you can just get it up closer, of human trafficking. And to my friends who are all over the world, we are all facing times of turbulence, times of where human trafficking is on the news, and in our our lives and our awareness so much. So, but this space here is a way to represent philosophies and ideologies on earth where the children of God, we're the family of God, but we have brothers and sisters that are choosing paths of darkness.
I love the juxtapose of the darkness of the great and spacious building, because if you know the vision, you know that it looks like a party and there's mocking, but what you've done is pull back the curtain and really had an impact on my family and myself to see it portrayed. I love that you visualized for us what human trafficking. Do you want to point out anything specific here? Oh, I love
like this one right
yes,
here.
yes.
This woman that has the crown, and if you can see the lust in her body language and in her face.
Yes.
So the obsession with power is also something we're seeing in our governments, in our leaders, in prominent athletes and
Hollywood.
Hollywood, yes. And so, but then you really have to say, what kind of joy, what fulfillment really does nurture the soul? And it's to ask those questions and to really devote your true core self to what will bring you the greatest source of happiness. And that's my ruling love of God, because God sees it all and he's omniscient and his love is omniscient and he loves each one of us completely and perfectly. And so if we're deceived by the voices of the world that say, if you have to have worth, you have to look a certain way, you have to do certain things, you have to talk a certain way. And God is saying, I love you, my precious child, as you are. So come to me and feel fulfilled as we walk through life together.
Can you show us the older woman at the top in her gown?
Sure. I'm going to have Nikki walk on top, and
yes.
I'm going to jump up here and show you.
Because I've been thinking about her. I mean, I've been thinking about the whole thing all night, all morning, but
Okay.
I loved what you just said, and I think that she depicts it perfectly.
Oh, it went off visual. Totally went off visual. There. Sorry, we disappeared for a second.
Nope, it's great.
So this woman is called Gone. Can you see her?
Yep, she's great.
Okay, now this one's called Bait.
Yep.
And this one's called Gluttony. And this one is called Gone. And I'm just going to let you get close to her. But everybody looking, see the fear in her face. Okay. Can you see the fear?
Yes.
Can you see the fact that she's no longer young and beautiful and famous? And all she has left are a few relics of the past. So, and she made the decision to never be a wife, never be a mother, never have children. And now in her later years, it is literally all gone. And the reality is that's going to come for each of us. But God is trying to say,
what is a
I have a plan for you.
Yeah.
And that plan involves family. It involves the love, the true divine acceptance and embracing of self. And because there are people that accomplish amazing things. That's not what I'm saying. That I'm saying is that keeping our balance and understanding that we are children of God, and to always stay loyal and devoted to the cause of light, because there are a lot of ways that we can be turned and that we can be someone just put a comment in there and
do you see oh
yeah, I just saw that, but
yeah, there's so much love, Angela. Like I haven't want to interrupt you, but people are so grateful for this and they're feeling the spirit. I don't want to stay too long that we can't get to some of the other things, but I think some of the other parts of the great and spacious building is you represent the third of the host that chose a different way. And I think that's powerful. I love that you show some of the, I think, techniques of Satan through pornography and how you have one individual there. I think it's
So just tell me if you can see them.
I can. Right there. Stop right there. So that individual right there, you're showing the man that's struggling with pornography with the headband. And I love that.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. That's a third.
Yes, there's one of the thirds.
Here are the children.
From sex trafficking, yes.
Yep. There's a little girl who's lost. Here is the universal pose we all know so well. But see, this is not just a story for ancient times. This is us.
Yes. And for the viewers, there's one question, where is this at? Right now it's in her studio in Highland, but the children that were caught in sex trafficking, they're not there because of their choice, but you'll see there's a white angel right there. And I shared with you last night that Tim Ballard, who does work on sex trafficking, shared on an interview with me and on Real Talk that's literally what he's been shown, the angel right there. The angels go in before to minister to those children that are caught in sex trafficking. And I love the chains that you have from Satan that go out. Right there. And how he wants to bind us. Do you want to say about the spears in his hands?
I think that it's very easy to minimize how brutal Satan is. And when I was talking to their family last night, I said I should put like probably
10,000,
10,000 weapons there. But it was so frustrating because what he's doing is he has, okay, wait. How do I do this? Can you see him?
Yep, right there. Okay. Perfect.
So, but they're pointed at this man.
Yes.
He's an act of killing this man, but yet his other hand, which is like a claw, it has chains in it. So, but look where he's turning his focus. He's immediately looking for his next victim.
Oh.
So he doesn't even wait for one man to die before he wants to take another child of God prisoner. And this person, right? Ooh, I get excited if I think you can actually see them.
I can see.
I can share them with people all over the world. This is so awesome.
And we're seeing more detail. I was there in person last night, and I didn't get this close because I stayed on the little path. So you're getting a treat because you're seeing that's King Herod, right?
Yes. Yeah. But what I'm trying to do, and this is one of the women that is haunted by having no purpose, no understanding of who she is, and her name is Adar. And she has absolute despair and depression. And I hope you can, where'd she go? See her? There she is. Yeah. But we feel like this, okay?
Yeah.
This isn't just a statue.
Right. This is for real. Yeah.
This is from real, because we're constantly mocked like we have no worth because we haven't done anything great, or we're not famous, or we're not wealthy. But this is when Adar makes the decision to leave this dark realm. And then you could actually see her over my shoulder.
Right there.
I don't know. Right there. If you can see her right there on the iron rod.
Right.
Because we don't have to stay in places of darkness. Yeah. And I'm gonna go up if that's okay.
Yes, perfect. Because my spirit was saying, let's talk about Adar, Adar, and you went right to her. My spirit was saying, let's show that that you show the juxtapose of the world and the darkness, because when we know that, then we can make the choice to the tree, and then you depict through art someone making that choice to leave. So
this is a message of hope,
right?
So it's okay. And I'm going to have because light is so strong.
Yes.
I don't know how far we can go with it.
Right.
Tell me if you can see the little children.
The shot is perfect. You're right behind. Yeah, you're right behind the tree for our viewers. You're behind the Savior, and you're seeing this this gathering of all different cultures and races, and of course, who's closest is the children. And there's the tree. It's amazing. It's spectacular.
Well,
It's spectacular.
I hope I'm just trusting in faith that everybody can see it, because I wish you were all right here with me.
Well, we are in spirit. Do you want to talk, Angela, about when it's in full
Yeah, the
size?
full realization
Yeah,
is underway, and of course, it all depends on funding, how fast it goes. But my whole desire is that we walk into this situation in an immersive way. I
right.
guess it's pointed on me. But so that, because many times when we have dreams or we have visions, we feel that they're truly larger than life. And they're very difficult to describe to other people because they envelop us emotionally, spiritually, in every way. So that when people walk in to Lehi's vision of the tree of life, all these figures will be larger than life. And there'll be bronze figures, and there'll be a beautiful waterfall of living water coming out from underneath the tree of life, moving forward and cascading down the mount of the tree of life. So it's meant to be very sensory,
Mm.
because what I want to do is feel my family, the children of God, enveloped in love, enveloped in the love of God, so that we can more freely and completely love each other.
I love too that for those that are familiar with the light, the world, the man that was healed of leprosy is at the
Yeah.
base of the tree. And I love that you have shared every corner of the world is represented. And I think the other thing that impacted me the most is that you're going to take as a viewer through the life of Christ as you approach the tree, because that's how we find that hope. Do you want to talk about your experience in sculpting the Savior?
Oh, absolutely. Somebody asked me, who do I sculpt first? And I immediately pointed up by the tree to Christ. And I said, I always start with Christ, because my life is guided by his light. And in order for me to get the strength to actually do this, I have to look at him constantly. And it's the light in his eyes that God has blessed me with the ability to create a portrayal or a depiction of divine virtues, of grace and mercy and love and compassion. So, and it's the strength of his faith that gives faith in me, that gives me the strength to do this massive presentation that's eventually going to have about 230 figures on it. But the point being is that part of this great vision specifically addressed the ministry of Jesus Christ. So the Bible and the Book of Mormon is another testament of Jesus Christ. But it's the same Jesus, the baby in Bethlehem, the miracles, the walking on the water, and the light of the world statues are going to be adjacent to the tree of life in a beautiful companion a testimony of unity of this witness of Jesus.
The
So
Bible and the Book of Mormon coming together as those witnesses of Christ. I also wanted to ask you what touched me, and I don't know if I'll be able to talk about it, is that you have, and I don't know if he'll remain this way, but Joseph Smith is down at the base and he's standing alone. And you don't have to look very far to see the critics that have come out to rip to shreds church history and our past leadership, and that we have been told will continue to happen. And it had such a profound impact on me that he was standing there, and all of this is behind him, right? The tree, the vision, the everything. And I just thought what it takes sometimes to stand and to stand alone in the testament of Christ. And like I said, I don't know when you finish all 230 if he'll be alone, but I came home last night just reflecting on the power that God has enabled you to have to do something that hasn't been done. And like you said, it's the power comes from Christ. Do you have anything else on your heart that you'd like to share? Because we have Abu Dhabi that has joined us, and I just think this is such a beautiful opportunity that we're a global family here on this broadcast right now, and it's exactly the desire of your heart that the world would be invited to the tree. So do you have anything else?
Absolutely. I really do. In fact, every day when I read the words of Christ, it is so stunning to me how alone he was. And particularly when he tells people that he's the bread of life, and then they go, well, that's too hard. I'm out of here. I'm not following you anymore. And then the Son of God turns to his apostles and he said, are you also going to go away? And it just cleaves my heart right into, because we all want to be part of what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is thinking. We want to be accepted. We wanted to be acknowledged, that we're not kind of out on the fringe. But I want to be on Christ's side. And I am so thankful for the many people who stand with me. But you're right. Joseph Smith was accused of horrible things, and I'm firm in my understanding of who Joseph Smith is. And it was my grandson that came in here and said, Grandma, where are you going to put Joseph? And what am I supposed to say to him? And I said, absolutely, Nick, where would you put him? And he said, I'd put him right there teaching the multitudes. So if I'm going to be on a side, I'm going to be on a side of God's prophets, and I'm going to be on Christ's side. And if the going gets rough, and that, you think about the apostles of all time and about Paul, and about, in the end, he died for Christ. And if that's what's in my future, then I'll accept that and I'll embrace that. But I want to live for him every thought, every desire, every day of my life.
Wow. Thank you, my friend, for your angelic work on the earth to help all of us come to the tree. And I think I shared with you as we left last night that I really believe that Lehi had the experience, then Nephi had it, to show us that we each can have this experience. In a very real way, you will be providing that for the world, to have a very tactile experience of coming to the tree. And even my husband, my 22-year-old son last night couldn't stop talking about how they felt. And I know that that came through today in this broadcast. And I'm so grateful for you, and I'll be praying for you. In the comments, when the video is done, I will post, if you want to support this project and helping it come to life at a full scale. We were talking last night, if everything stays on track, it will be ready for visitors in the gardens in 2024, which is the year that the Salt Lake Temple will be finished, which I do not think is an accident, because what a powerful time where there will be visitors maybe from all over the world coming to visit the temple, and they will have that opportunity. So I will have information for those that want to do a tax-free donation. But for those that may never have the chance, that can't contribute, your prayers, I think are so powerful for every single one of our missionaries. And Angela, I feel like you're one of God's missionaries. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Bless you.
Okay, and thank you all of you Women of Worth viewers that have joined us live. Please share this video. I know that I have been touched by the Spirit, the detail that we were able to see of the faces, and to know who our Savior is more personally. Any chance we can share that with a loved one, especially with all that's happening in the world, I know that this video will do that. And we'll see you again soon next week on Women of Worth Wednesday.